Oftentimes a leader takes the title CEO, Chief Executive Officer, but I think there's another title that I'd like to encourage you to consider yourself as CIO, Chief Inspirational Officer. And I'll tell you a quote which I think is very powerful. It's from Israelmor Avior. I hope I pronounced that correctly. A true leader is a person whose influence inspires people to do what is expected of them to do. You cease to be a leader when you manipulate with your egos instead of convincing by your inspirations. And so when you think about what leadership is all about, how do I inspire others to be better? How do I inspire them to come to work each and every day? How do I inspire them to make a difference? And one way to do that is to have a very clear, vivid vision of where you're going and the steps that we need to take to get there. When you create a picture, when you create a vision, something that people could work towards, something that as soon as they get there, they'll know, this is it. This is what we've been working towards. Now you've really given people the opportunity to work towards something special. And I think when I heard Dr. Williams make the comment before about your goal, the idea of becoming the best district in the nation, if I heard that correctly, which is a pretty powerful and high goal to carry for yourself. But nonetheless, it's something that really hopefully gets everybody on board, gets us moving in the right direction. And if we believe it and we live by it, then we can see that we're making a difference. Peter Drucker is one of the leaders in the area of leadership. He once described leadership as follows: lifting a person's vision high to high heights, raising a person's performance to a higher standard, going beyond its normal limitations. And so coming back to the movie that I saw last night, I see this individual in there. Can you imagine what it's like to be all the way down there, completely trapped? I mean, I can't even imagine the situation. And realizing that there's no way out, at least not the way that they could do anything about. And immediately trepidation and fear starts to set in. And one individual refused to believe that message. One individual decided, we can find a way out of here. We'll need some help, but we can do it. And immediately began the process of working everybody towards that vision, whether it was rationing the food, whether it was divvying up responsibilities, whether it was conserving resources. All of that was a process of, I have a vision, we're going to get out of here. It might take some time, but we're going to work towards that goal. And he got everybody on board. Despite the difficulties, it wasn't perfect. People were struggling. It's human nature. It was a difficult situation. But he rallied them around because he knew that that's the only way possibly to get out of there. And that's really the responsibility of a leader. Zig Ziglar, who was one of the great sales people of the last couple of decades, is no longer living. Also a great speaker, an inspirational speaker and whatnot. So he said that he was kind of middling in sales and he wasn't doing particularly well in a company that sold, I forget exactly what their product was. And one day he gets out of bed to, as we say in Yiddish, to schlep to a meeting in cold weather, far away, because he had made a commitment when he signed on that he would go to every meeting. And he comes to this one meeting and there's an individual there, and the individual said to him, you could become the best salesperson on the entire team. And they had like thousands of salespeople. And he was shocked by this assessment. And he went from, 1,500th or 2,000th, whoever it was that he was placed, to number 2 in 1 year. Because somebody had the vision, somebody had the belief in him, somebody told him it was possible. And when we go ahead and we infuse possibility in our people, do it ourselves too. But when we do it to our people, then all of a sudden, they see themselves differently. And I'm sure you've all had that experience. I'm sure you had, hopefully not just a parent, but I'm sure you've had people in your life, maybe a teacher, maybe a coworker, maybe just somebody else that you know, that saw you differently than you saw yourself, gave you a different vision of who you are and who you could become. And because of that new vision, you rose to great heights. And that's something that I would encourage you to think about. Don't just look at your people for who they are at the moment. Look at who you think that they can become. Give them a vision of a better tomorrow for themselves as well as for your team. And what are the steps that we need to take in order to get there?